Hi, it's Barry Gruber from Jerusalem. Today, this week's lesson will be about speaking. What is the power of the thing called a word? Actually, a word in Hebrew is called a davar. And actually, this week is the fourth book in the book of Moses called Devarim. And what's so important about Devarim? Well, it's the final book. It's the final call right before Rosh Hashanah, where the Jews they're coming into the land, and they're repeating a lot of the things that had happened in the previous books, which happened in the second book of Shemot, the Exodus, because they came through the desert, then they came to the mountain, they received the Torah, and now it was Moses, the great teacher, that said, okay, we have the Torah, we have to go into the land. What occurred at that point? Well, they said, let us go spy the land. Let us go see what's going on there. So when they went into the land, they picked the 12 princesses of the tribes, of all the major tribes. When they came into the land, they said, wow, look at the produce. Look at the grapes. It says in the Torah, it's a land of milk and honey, so to speak. But what they saw was something else. They also saw that they were like grasshoppers, that they were so small. It was a land of giants. And here they had the command, okay, boys, it's time to come to Israel. It's time to stop playing, and do what I ask you to do. Well, 10 out of the 12 actually said, this is impossible. How can we possibly overcome these huge people? However, 2 of them, Caleb and Yeshua, said, have faith, we can do it. We must do it. God took us out of the Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. We're here. We have to complete the job. So this is what I call in my book the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is the bad inclination that actually could be used for good if you use it wisely. And they feared when they should have had confidence and faith in themselves to carry out the mission. It says they spoke Lashon Hara about the land. What does it mean, Lashon Hara? Lashon Hara literally translates as bad talk. The Chofetz Chaim talks about Lashon Hara. He says that when you speak badly about other people, 3 things occur. One, the person listening is affected. One, the person talking is affected. And the third person that they're talking about, bad words, Lashon Hara, is affected too. But that third person can't really do anything. And the Talmud says it's like killing a person over and over again, because once the lies had spread, the person cannot be saved. His whole identity, his whole living and being is affected by bad talk, Lashon Hara. So they happen to go on the biblical calendar of Tisha B'Av. Today, right now, right before Shabbos in a couple of hours, it's the 8th of Av. But tomorrow night, right after Shabbos, is Tisha B'Av. And we mourn the destruction of the both temples that were destroyed on this exact day. This is not a happy day in Jewish history. It was a day that the Spanish told the Jews to leave Spain, and they had been big contributors there, but they were asked on that day. So this day, the rabbis realized was Tisha B'Av. Now, what wrong did they do by just showing their insecurities and showing their tears for not being able to get enough nerve to do what the Creator asked them to do? The punishment doesn't fit the crime. What was the punishment? On this day, 586 BCE and 70 AD, 500 years later, both temples were destroyed. How could it be? People talk to each other, and I could see the damage that's caused by speaking Lashon Hara one-on-one with the people. But they spoke Lashon Hara about the land. So what is important about the land? The land was the place that Hashem, God, designated for the Jewish people to come into the land, and they weren't following through with the commandment, settle the land. Don't worry, I'll be with you. I was with you in Egypt, and I'll be with you. I was with you when the Egyptians attacked you at the sea. I split the sea. I made the 10 plagues in Egypt. What makes you think that these giants are a problem for you? I've got your back. I'm Hashem. I got you covered. And they say, well, they're dying all over and they're burying them all over. They said, well, why is it only 2 of them thought we can still do it? And the reason that they were dying was, the Chazal tell us, the rabbis tell us, that God was making it easy for them to conquer the land. But what they saw and what they felt were 2 different things. You can see the glass half empty, and you can see the glass half full. What did you see? Only 2 people out of the 10, 20% of the Jewish nations through the 12 leaders saw something. We can do it. So the second time, so the Jews were actually punished, not because they were also punished because of the golden calf in the desert, and they were struggling for 40 years. Now they're coming after the 40 years in the desert, where everything was provided for them, and they say, okay, we're going to do it now. We're going to attack, and we're going to be successful. So there's 2 things we have to see here. We have to see that what we see is not always what we think we see. We have to give people the benefit of the doubt, and we have to have the confidence sometimes to get enough nerve, because whatever negativity enters our minds and hearts might be detrimental to our being. So here we are, a little bit before Rosh Hashanah, and there is a fundamental idea that God is going to redeem the Jewish people one day. And now that 50% of the Jewish people are living in the land of Israel, there is a great, and everything is upside down in the world, we still have to have the vision of faith. We have to see that God's hand is with the people Israel. And that's a lot of the point of my book, is that we have a mission. We Jews have to be a light upon the nations. And we have to first be a light upon ourselves. It was in the second temple period, people were kind of religious, but they didn't have respect. The respect comes for God. But God tells us we have to be kind to one another. We have to be kind to our fellow man. So think about it as you're coming to Rosh Hashanah, not just the Jewish people. Work on yourselves. See things positively. You can see things badly, or you can see things. When the things get worse, know that there's a God up there, and He's putting it there for a reason. And it means that ultimately, that time where you feel there's no hope, that's the time that Hashem will come over and give you strength and let you succeed to cross the line and get to the goal that you want. So I wish everybody a good Shabbos. We're going from Kodesh to Kodesh. The rabbis decreed this day, Tisha B'Av, where both temples were destroyed. And really, we need to fix ourselves, because as I mentioned in the previous talk, it was the dibur, it was the talk, it was the gossip, it was all the garbage coming out of everybody's mouth, that Hashem sent this tiny virus just to say, don't talk so much. And I think I've spoke enough, 10 minutes. So anyway, have a good Shabbos.